Hello everyone and welcome to this second episode of the Ryubix and Sam Talks show, which is about the FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022 qualifiers. And tonight I'm of course with my co-host Sam. Hello.
Hello. Hello.
But we are not just the two of us this time. Actually, we have two invites with us. The first of them is a British YouTuber that we have the chance to collaborate with tonight, Toboloco.
Hello.
How do you feel about your participation tonight?
I'm really excited, a little nervous, but yeah, I'm sure we'll be okay. My first ever podcast, and like I said, really excited.
Yeah, you don't need to worry about that. And of course, we have our second participant with us tonight, Potato from Spain. How are you, Potato?
Hi.
Yeah, you're not very talkative yet, but don't worry, we will all be during this second episode. And tonight, the first subject of those international tournaments are the AFC Asian qualifiers. So, does any one of you have something to say about what happened last month?
Well, like it is, the groups are being like very already like decided because
Mm.
like Japan, South Korea, and well, not Japan, South Korea and Iran in the first group are like winning everything, so they are already qualified actually. So and then in the other group it's just Saudi Arabia, Japan, and Australia. Like they just play themselves.
Mhm.
Um, Vietnam getting their first win against China was very entertaining. On
Mm.
on Lunar New Year, no less.
Oh wow.
Yes, against who they won again?
It was wasn't it 3-1, I believe, to Vietnam?
Yes, yes. Vietnam won 3-1 against China on
Yeah.
the last played match day. So yeah, China are kinda out of the World Cup, I think. Oh yes, they are. Yes, they are actually eliminated.
Yeah, everyone like from Oman to China and Vietnam are everyone out.
Mm.
So yeah, I know someone that paid millions for this, and still his country can't even manage to qualify for the World Cup. Too bad, Xi Jinping. Too bad. Yeah, imagine investing in so many stadiums and facilities for your country to win in 2050, and yet you can't even manage to qualify.
I
They were too busy
think
with
they'll
the
get there
Olympics.
soon.
Yeah, but
The other thing to note, the UAE being in third place in Group A, Lebanon and Iraq are right behind them, though. It's going to be tough for that last possible qualification spot, at least to the Asian playoffs.
yes, that's something that is quite, I will say funny, but not especially in the laughable way. But yeah, the fact that Iran and South Korea both managed to top the group with a very, how can I say that? A very one-way domination. And
Mhm.
yet we can see 2 days before the end a three-ways battle for the playoff spot, which is kind of unusual, but yet I think will be satisfying to watch.
Yeah. Iran and South Korea 0 losses against in the group stage 0. So not too bad really from both of those. Like you said, it was domination from those two sides there.
Yeah, but I think they have to play each other once again in the
They do. They drew
coming.
against each other, I believe. The one of
Yeah,
the matches, didn't they?
yeah, but what I wanted to
Yeah,
say is that they have to play once again against each other in March.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And it will be in South Korea, even so it does not matter for them, maybe it will matter for the FIFA World Ranking.
Hmm.
Because like since those two are in and are quite well ranked, imagine if you can beat the other team. You will gain so much points that could help you goes into a better pot for the World Cup draw.
The other thing to note would be in Group B with Saudi Arabia, Japan, and Australia, all still fighting for those two automatic qualifiers.
Yeah.
All Saudi Arabia needs to do is win, though. They've got China, and they can do that easily next, and then they've got Australia, which isn't as easy.
Yeah, Australia has like the worst schedule. They have to play against Japan and Saudi Arabia, so they must win both. And I think it's difficult, but possible.
I think if they just draw with Japan and then beat Saudi Arabia, that would work too.
Not sure because they are 3 points away from Japan, so
Yeah, that'd make them tied on points, and then it's just by goal differential at that point.
But Japan will probably beat Vietnam.
Yeah, that too.
But I think the real question to ask ourselves are which team out of those three will actually manage to qualify. Like, I mean, we can put Saudi Arabia at the main lead, the main favorite to qualify, but I think it's kind of like a relegation battle. Those three teams are the top contenders in Asia, and yet one of them must go by the trap because right now going by the playoffs will be intense, and because we have to play many more matches, and yet we'll have to finish against a CONMEBOL team, something that you want to avoid.
Yeah.
And guys, what is your serious pick to the unlucky one? For myself, I see Australia as the unlucky one in this group.
Same.
I would said Saudi Arabia some months ago, but surprisingly they did a really good qualifier. So in the point they are now, I feel Australia will go out.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with all of you. It's going to be Australia, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can.
I'm going to say it's going to be Australia versus Iraq, though. I think Iraq might pull it off.
I don't know why, but yeah, I rather
as far as making it or playing in the fourth round, that playoff round.
I mean, Iraq, I've like 4 points behind.
But Australia would beat Iraq
Arab
at that point.
Emirates. I think it will be maybe Lebanon, but I mean UAE are in quite a good position to maintain their third place.
I would have said UAE as well.
Should we go to the next one then?
Yeah, we can all agree on what is going to happen, and we have nothing much to say since most of the stuff here is already been said or decided indirectly. So yeah, we can move. I think someone just disconnected.
Yeah, it was Ahmad came back.
He's back again.
Hello.
He's alive. Yes. But anyway. Okay, since we talk already about the AFC qualifiers, let's talk about an international competition.
Hang on. What was the last thing I said real quick before I disconnected?
Nothing.
Oh, okay. I said Australia was going to win. I think Iraq is going to make it past UAE, and I think it's going to be Australia over Iraq.
Yeah, no, I kind of think like you, the team from Group B are the favorites to actually go into international qualifiers. I mean playoffs. But yeah, I think the third team from Group A does not matter much from my point of view.
Also, I wanted to talk about how Oman did like better than expected qualifiers, although they didn't qualify at the end, but well, it was good by them.
And lackluster for Syria after a good qualifying run last qualification.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that we talk about Asia, I want to stay in Asia. I mean, we will talk about an international competition that happened in December. If you remember about it, it's a FIFA Arab Cup. I don't know if all of you have followed the tournament, but the winners are none other than Algeria, that actually won their first title ever, because the Arab Cup was played for the 10th time, but first under the FIFA name.
There is a thing that is the fact that this was played just a month before African Cup of Nations, so
Yeah.
this meant that teams didn't use their best players. So it was kinda a big team competition, and well,
Yeah, you are right on this. Most African nations in this tournament actually played locals and some emerging players to test things for the upcoming AFCON or even World Cup for some like Tunisian, Algeria that are in the playoff for March. But yeah, have you something to say about the Arab Cup, or what do you feel about the FIFA not creating but taking the rights of the competition for them?
I like the idea if they don't put the tournament again a month before an important one, because this could be interesting, but we need the best players of these countries.
True. It is good. I watched all the matches because they live streamed them
Yeah,
on YouTube, didn't they? Some of them.
yeah,
I
they
think
did.
all of them, maybe. I'm not entirely sure,
It
but
was all of
All
them.
of
It
them.
was all of them.
yeah. I watched them all, and to be honest, it was nice having a tournament over December. I think it gave us a little bit of an insight, only a tiny bit of like how Qatar is gonna host the World Cup this year, and it's gonna give us an insight on what a tournament is like in December. But yeah, like you said, most of the teams there did field their B teams, if you want to call them that. Um, but yeah, no, it just gave us an insight on like how the stadiums looked and like how Qatar were going to host everything. And just adding just a small point on it, it did seem like at times, I don't know if you guys felt it, that there wasn't much atmosphere there. I'm not like hating on the tournament or anything, but it didn't feel like there was a lot of atmosphere compared to like another tournament, for example.
Maybe not, but
Yeah,
well,
I mean, it was not during. It was not hosted in a very good time. I mean, COVID does not help in
Oh
itself,
yeah, true. Yeah.
because we must not forget that those years, the COVID kinda ruins the fun and the atmosphere in most environments. For example, right now there is Marseille versus Calabag at the moment as we speak, and I can confirm that there is only a few thousand people in the stadium due to COVID restrictions. So I mean, the World Cup can suffer the same fate. We will not have fully stadiums due to COVID and restrictions, and maybe we can expect the
Okay.
but
same for many tournaments.
still, it seemed different from what it seemed Senegal, for example, that there was a lot of people supporting
Yeah.
them, and African countries as that.
I think it was a lot of people were just excited about a new tournament. They wanted to know what was up, as far as like TV ratings and views.
Yeah, fair enough.
Mm.
But I don't know about you, but I want to share a point, something. I want to remind you people. Do you remember about the Confederations Cup?
Yeah,
Yeah.
But do you
Mm-hmm.
know the true origin of the tournament before it
it
was?
was a thing of a Saudi president, I think.
Yes, it was known as the Cup of King Fahd. So you were close, Potato.
Uh,
And the FIFA liked the tournament, and after the third edition, they took over the host as host, main host, and we know them as the Confederations Cup, and it's exactly the same. For once again, FIFA have taken over a tournament created in the Middle East, and I don't know, maybe they are giving more interest in the region. And I know it's a weird theory, but I mean, they took over two tournaments from the Middle East for themselves. And when you think about it, FIFA those years are trying to straighten their powers and dominance in the political status of football. I mean, they are in war with UEFA right now. And technically, when you think about it, the FIFA Arab Cup is kind of like a continental competition. Like, imagine if they keep the tournament and play it a few more times, like they have the All Continental Cup, like the Euros, the AFCON, the Copa America. What could it lead to? I mean, if you, yeah, it's weird to think like in that angle. But can you imagine that someday the FIFA will acknowledge the existence of the Arabic Union of Football Associations? If you don't know about it, it's a real confederation, but
Yeah.
unrecognized by
Hmm.
FIFA. And maybe maybe FIFA are trying to create a seventh continental confederation. I don't know, but it's kind of a weird tournament that they showed to us in December. A weird format, a continental cup, but that does not really represent a continent, but a whole region of the world.
It would be a new thing because every FIFA confederation is a geographical thing, and this is more cultural. So I don't know.
I think it's weird. But yeah, it's weird for them to just take over a tournament and imagine they just scrap it off and never play it again. It will be so weird. So I cannot expect them to play like 2 or 3 more editions of the Arab Cup.
There is a club competition, but I don't think it's much important.
Yeah, they have the Arabic Champions League.
And shall we talk about like how the tournament went?
The Arab Cup?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we kinda explained it all. The tournament was quite a local success. I judge on how many people view the tournament and the commentary. Most people in the Arabic world really like the tournament. Like me, that's why I think FIFA will maybe try to host it some more times so they can gather more fans in the Arab world.
I found it
That
interesting that a lot of the refs were from different confederations too. Like I don't think they used any Asian or African ones. I think it was all from the other ones. So UEFA, Oceania, and CONCACAF.
Okay.
You are right about that. Yes, I have the list on before me. We got 2 from AFC, 2 from
Yeah.
CA. No, 2 from every confederation except CONMEBOL 3 and
And
OFC
oh,
1. So
yeah, well,
yeah,
it's a FIFA tournament.
another theory is that they just took the tournament to replace the Confederations Cup. Because when you think about it, they cancelled the edition in Qatar.
Well, that
And huh?
that was
Hmm.
technically the supposed new World Cup, the Club World Cup. I mean, that was supposed to replace it. I don't know what did happen with that after COVID.
Yeah, they just put the project back in a few years because they can't host it right now with 24 teams. They didn't even started the official qualifiers, which are just this year's winner from the Champions League or the Europa League gets to qualify. They even started to give appropriate spots for each confederation. So we really don't know when this new Club World Cup will actually start, but this Arab Cup is surely the replacement for both this and the Confederations Cup for the years to come.
I mean, we did still have a Club World Cup.
Yeah, we still have,
Yeah.
but the project is just
Uh,
to make it disappear to the extended one.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
But yeah, I think we covered it up for the Arab Cup. It was just a small fun tournament to watch, but
well, I know it's a bit random, but about the Algerian goal in 90 plus 17 minutes in the semifinal. Yeah, no, that's
Oh, what? It had
Oh
2
yes, yes,
minutes left
yes, you
time.
are right.
That's
I
true.
forgot about that. Oh, it was so ridiculous. Oh my god. It was, yeah, that was very idiotic. The referees were clearly for Qatar, but they somehow freaked up and it just gave the win to Algeria. we I still remember this semi-final. It was crazy. Oh man. I mean,
Well,
they gave 10 minutes to Qatar, then 17. Oh my god.
Wow.
Such a shame this match. Oh my, oh, you just remind me. Oh putain.
we'll
I
get there
was
later.
Yeah, I I think we can move on now.
Okay.
I was about to say just before we move on, like you said about that instance, the game beforehand, that Qatar played in the quarterfinals, the one that stood out to me the most in the tournament when they thrashed the UAE 5-0. I mean that's a huge result for Qatar. Remember,
Uh,
obviously,
do,
they're neighbours and pretty much rivals as well.
oh,
So
I know they are rivals,
Mm,
and I
they're
can.
yeah.
not neighbors though.
I think you haven't watched the Asian Cup in 2019, which actually was in United Arab Emirates. Okay.
Oh yeah. I think I watched some of it, but I don't remember it off the top of my
Okay,
head.
so in the semi-final, there was also Qatar versus UAE, and there was some nasty thing because at the time there was very a political war in the Middle East, and the UAE just made it clear. No, not clear, but they made sure that all the tickets will have been sold to locals. So only people from the country will have to get to actually go to the stadium, and so Qatari supporters could not even get a single ticket. So,
Oh,
so
okay.
all the stadium in the semi-final was only people from the country, not even strangers, only locals, and it was so unfair for Qatari. But the Karma decided to strike the host nation, and Qatar destroyed them at home in the semi-final 4-0.
Oh, okay. Okay,
And
I see.
a few days after, Qatar won their first Asian Cup ever, 3-1
Mm.
against Japan. Japan being the only country to have scored a single goal on Qatar in the World Tournament.
Interesting.
So even so, I don't like the state of Qatar. I follow the national team since that tournament because, well, they are the host of the World Cup. You want to know how they do before they get to play the big tournament at home. But I mean, I was very impressed by their performance in the Asian Cup, and since then, I don't even miss a single tournament they are in.
And they are in every tournament.
And from what I hear,
Yeah.
from what I heard, you can be very sure that on the Arab world, the tournament will be a success because many people in Qatar, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates are very hype for the tournament because, well, it's the first time a World Cup are in the region, and you can't blame them.
Mm.
So yeah, FIFA already won their bet to actually host a big event to popularize the sport in the Middle East.
Alrighty. I think that
Okay.
wraps up the Arab Cup. And it's time to move on to CONCACAF.
CONCACAF.
Yeah, finally your continent, Sam.
Woo! Too bad your guys' continent isn't on show this time. We had Canada is just dominating. I think that's the key thing from all of this. They have not lost a match yet. They had 3-2-0 wins this last period. This last window. Against
Yeah.
Honduras, the United States, and I forget the last one.
Okay, they
El
won
Salvador.
versus Honduras, United States, and
Salvador.
Salvador.
And
Yes,
Honduras,
you're right.
yeah.
And they haven't conceded a single goal. They won 2-0 each time.
They have. Oh, not this last window, no.
And it is interesting to have Canada like in the top because it didn't used to happen. It was like all between Mexico and the US, so I feel
Mhm.
this is good for CONCACAF.
Yeah, the fact that a third country seems to manage to really big gives a hard time to USA and Mexico. Yeah, I kind of agree with you. CONCACAF need a third team to really give some competitive opposition that
They
that's very is lacking there.
they had that Costa Rica glorious World Cup in 2014, which they almost reached the semifinals, but then it happens like they are just two. So yeah.
Mexico is not doing so great. They still got a win against Panama. They drew against Costa Rica, and then they won against Jamaica. And I kind of feel bad for Jamaica because they have a good squad, but they just haven't been getting the results they needed or they deserve.
Yeah.
But it's a let's see, we've got Canada in first, and they're basically going to be qualified. I think they just need one win or something like that to qualify
Yeah,
out of 3 days.
right now they are assured to they are confirmed to finish top four. So even so they do not qualify directly, which is quite unlikely, they will go to the intercontinental playoff against a nation from Oceania.
I mean, they have 8 points over Panama and three matches remain. So if they don't qualify, it would be a real disaster.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Panama and Costa Rica are only a point away for that final playoff spot. The U.S. and Mexico can still fall and actually not qualify. But those two are the big guns in CONCACAF, and I don't know if they're going to be able to, or if they're going to free fall that badly. Like Mexico might free fall enough for Panama to bypass them. The U.S. could do the same thing, but it's going to be an interesting window coming in March.
oh, of course it will. I think for all confederations that will have to end, it will be interesting because
That's everyone.
it's like the last lap on the race.
Yeah.
Everyone will give their best strength, and since it's March, for most people, all the national leagues are very well engaged in their respective seasons. So most players will be in their full strength, and there will be and their form will be sharp. So it's not like the early season, like in September, where you just start over and you need to get back in shape, you know. So yeah, it will probably be the biggest window for this year, without any doubt.
Yeah.
And about Costa Rica and Panama, they have a similar schedule for the last three games. Maybe it's a bit better for Panama because they both face Canada and the US, but Costa Rica faces Canada in the first game where the Canadians still will have to secure their spot, but still it's really equal.
Yeah.
Mm, for the both of them, I think, from my point of view, the North American trio will all take their tickets.
Yeah.
But I think, no, not I think, but I want to ask you, from your POV, which nation between Panama and Costa Rica will be able to grab that intercontinental playoff spot?
That is a tough one. Costa Rica, we've mentioned this before. They have old players. They they need fresh faces or whatever. But they're still getting it done, and that's the thing. Panama had a surprise auto qualify in. Did they? No, they didn't auto qualify, did they? In 2018, they had to go through the playoff, didn't they?
No, they actually qualify as third, I think.
Oh, okay. But that was their first time in at least a while that they made it to a World Cup, if not the first time.
The first
Yeah.
ever. Yeah.
And they're showing why they should be going back to it. But I would love to see Costa Rica get that fourth spot, just because I like the team a lot. But it is going to be really close between the two of them. They're pretty similar when it comes to the level of play.
Yeah, yeah, Keylor Navas deserves the World Cup. But yeah, it will be hard. We can't even know right now. It's hard to predict. Tobo, do you have a prediction to share for that?
I personally think Costa Rica might snatch it. Like I said, I don't really know too much about the CONCACAF region. I don't really get to watch it being over in the UK. I only really ever hear about Canada and how dominant they've been for the past, the whole qualification process, really. Yeah, the only real thing I hear about the CONCACAF is obviously about Panama. Back a couple of weeks ago, the constant oh, Panama going to beat Mexico, Panama going to beat Mexico sort of thing. But yeah, personally, Costa Rica will get that spot. I think they put. I hope so. I really hope so. That's not nothing against Panama or anything. I just prefer that Costa Rica would get it.
Panama did not win that game against Mexico, by the way.
No, they didn't.
Yeah. So yeah, it will be a very tough window, like we said. But I don't know about you, but Sam, I will understand since you are American, but I'm very hype for Canada. I can't
Oh,
wait.
same.
Same.
I can't wait
Yeah,
to see
same.
them in the World Cup.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited for them. Like, I wish the U.S. was doing a lot better than they are, because they've kind of fell off on my end. It seems like this World Cup qualifiers, but not as bad as Mexico, for sure. Mexico really needs to figure something out here. The U.S. is kind of in the same boat that they've always been in that scenario. So they just didn't have to. They didn't have any teams really to compete against because of their level of play. US's level of play was always a lot better. But now that we have the Nations League, and that's helping a little bit with the level of play in the lower regions, and the fact that we missed out in 2018 also shows.
Well, about traditional CONCACAF standings and all those, Honduras used to do good, and it is the other way around than Canada because they have 3 points in 11 games. It's terrible.
Yeah. They also had a coaching change in the middle of this particular round.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, well, Honduras is yeah, it's totally a failure. I think it's the second time they failed in a row.
Yeah.
They were in the playoff
Yeah.
against Australia in
They played
2019. Yeah, they are totally in a transition period, and maybe I think Honduras is still a good nation on CONCACAF standards, but we can, yes, like all nations, they have ups and bads, and we just need to for them to wait for a new generation to come. Even so, I'm afraid for the country in itself because I have followed some U21 and U19 World Cups, the youth versions, and the Honduras youth national team are taking real bad losses like 7-0, 8-0 in the youth World Cups, and I'm afraid even the next generation will not be able to put the Honduras on a world class level. I mean, capable to advance to the World Cup.
Honduras was actually the team which Haaland scored 9 goals against them. I don't remember when, but yeah.
And yet Haaland was the best goal scorer in the tournament, and yet his country haven't got out of the group stage.
And now Borussia Dortmund is doing the same.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. It's still the Europa League and the Conference League right now as we speak. I don't know the results, but I know Dortmund have played bad.
2-4.
Oh, yeah, bad for them. So I want just to say one last thing before we move on to the fourth subject. Even so, Mexico, I forgot to tell in English, but even so, they are technically failing their qualifiers. I mean, not up to the expectations we put on them. I shall remind people that in 2014 qualifiers, they ended fourth, I think. They were in the intercontinental playoffs that they won, and yet they were one of the best nations from CONCACAF in the tournament. And I will
Um,
not be surprised if they make the round of 16 once again.
yeah. Okay, so
Yeah, we will go to the next subject. And the next subject are the African Cup of Nations, which is actually the first international event of 2022.
yep.
Mhm.
So where to start?
So, well, this tournament was interesting because, as in the qualifiers, there were almost no surprises. This was completely different because Algeria did fail in the group stage. I don't remember I, which more teams did. Ghana did, and it was lots of surprises with Gambia and Equatorial Guinea reaching the quarterfinals. So I liked it.
The I can't speak right now. The group stage was a cluck
It
with
was,
the
wasn't it?
refing.
Yeah,
As far as the refing,
the tournament in itself was a huge failure. A lot of stuff was completely a fail. Like
the
the
match that one match being ended twice, and it still
yeah,
wasn't complete.
yeah, there was a lot of yeah, but for this case, even so it was a weird stuff, it can be excused as the referee was very feeling sick and was close to die.
What?
So yeah, you didn't know he was having a big I don't know how to say it, but when you are a big hit, like the temperature, it's very hot
Oh,
and you can't stand
Mhm.
completely bright in your head. That's mostly what happened to the referee, and he was going to go unconscious. So since it was not all clear in his mind, apparently it was his way to call for help because he wasn't even able to speak clearly up from what people can have gathered from him.
oh,
Even so, on the moment, I was also angry for Tunisia that got technically an injustice. I'm kinda okay. I'm kinda happy to see that the referee even died because it would be very sad for him to just die while while doing his job. And if we can put that out, it's still overall a very bad made tournament. All,
yeah,
all the COVID issues, the teams that did stupid things like Comoros that were after their qualification for the round of 16 just have gone to a nightclub and in the results 12 COVID cases. Like, how does African football wants to be taken seriously when their biggest event, which is one of the most followed in the world after the Euro and Copa America, is not even able to be correctly hosted? Like there was two stadiums that was closed during the tournament, so it's like you make a Euro in Britain, in England, and for some reason the Wembley Stadium is closed during the tournament. It makes no sense. I know there was reasons behind it, but how how this tournament was even able to exist? There was so many problems from A to Z. I don't know if you have something to add, but clearly
The
that
final was exciting.
Yeah.
yeah, at least
well,
that.
at least the penalty shootout was.
Yeah, at least Senegal have a trophy.
Yeah, true. There was like you said, like aside from the stuff that you mentioned, Sam said there was a lot of group stage failures, obviously, like Algeria and Ghana failing in the group stages. There was a few teams that caught my eye as well. Like Gambia did really well in the tournament, got to the quarterfinals, was it? And then
Yes,
lost to
quarterfinals.
Cameroon. And like who else did well? Obviously, Comoros did well.
Burkina
Scored that
Faso.
amazing free kick against Cameroon. Well, what a free kick that was!
Yeah.
And obviously their goalkeeper was a left back, and he did an amazing job to keep out the likes of like Abubakar and the rest of the team out. Amazing job for a left back. And another team, Malawi, who got to the round of 16 and scored that shot from like what a halfway line or something. It was absolutely insane. So there was some
Yeah.
good moments in there, and like you said, Senegal getting their first trophy, and Sadio Mane being the king of Africa for the next couple of years. So unlucky for Salah, but yeah, no, Mane is now the king at the moment.
Interesting to note, Egypt, every single game that Egypt played in the knockout stages went to either penalties or extra time.
Oh yeah, it did. Yeah, yeah, I got it right here. Yeah, Ivory Coast penalties, Morocco extra time, and then Cameroon penalties, and then yeah, the final penalties as well.
Yeah, Egypt was close to do a Portugal 2016 run right now.
Yeah,
Well, it was a difficult games for Egypt, so I guess they have their skills.
Yeah, but it's kind of just to come back from earlier, Potato, you said that the qualifiers were not full of surprises. I kinda disagree with you on the sense that a few nations like South Africa went missing, actually. And
But if you looked at pot one teams, I think the only one that missed was Burkina Faso because somehow they were pot two and they were pot one and Algeria pot two. But like the pots almost decided the position.
true, it's true. What can we say next? Yeah, Algeria. What do you think about Algeria overall? How did
that was
you
it was a
follow them?
failure. Their group stage, it was a failure. They won the tournament in 2019. They got good players. It was just a bit of a failure on their end.
Yeah, it's I remember
Yeah.
you can't really know, but in France or French speaking areas, there was a lot of people that were after Algeria, like they will want a third star on the jersey because yes, they put stars on the jersey like you won the World Cup, but for them it's the AFCON. And they were already talking like they are the champions, they are the king, and they will stay it because they are undefeated for over 30 matches, and that they are one of the best team in the world. They can go far in the World Cup. And then a few days later, you just see them going out in the group stage. Fun times.
Hmm.
It's kind of like Turkey at the Euros.
Yeah, a little bit actually. That you think like there's a lot of hype around Turkey in the Euros, and then they just crashed out.
I didn't understand that hype personally.
It's because they just show more love to their teams than us because Turkey and Algeria. No, no, I will say they play less tournaments than most top countries like France, England, and Senegal. But no, for Turkey it is true they do not qualify for every Euros, so we can understand them. But for Algeria, no, they play every AFCON, so my argument does not stand. But yes, those people are more invested into their national teams than some other countries do, and I think that's why they bring so much hype, only to get disappointed. I may say. because sadly their national teams do not bring as much results as their hypes provides. That's how I can resume it, I think. I may be wrong, but feel free to correct me.
I don't know, but also Ghana got out in the group stage, losing to Comoros, which was really surprising.
Yeah. It was a
Yeah,
comeback win as well, wasn't it? Was it a comeback or was it not? I can't remember off the top of my head.
No, Comoros
I
led 2-0.
Oh, 2-0. Okay, yeah,
Then
sorry. Yeah.
Ghana made a comeback.
Oh, it was Ghana that made the comeback. Yeah,
And
okay.
then
Yeah.
the Mogni from Comoros scored his second goal in the 85 minutes,
Cool.
settling Ghana's fate. So it was yeah. Comoros actually played well in that AFCON, even though they only got one win in 4 matches. But that was enough for them to advance. So GG to them.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
impressive.
a lot of people tends to overlook Ghana's failure, even though they are one of the top nations in the continent. Maybe because all the attention was on Algeria and their fans that was already screaming victory before the tournament even started.
Yeah. I would say probably Algeria is a bigger failure than Ghana because I personally feel since the days of 2010, Ghana have fallen off from those sort of days. They're not as good as those days. Don't get me wrong, they're still a good team, but I don't think personally for me they're that good anymore.
Yeah, sad years for the Black Stars.
Yeah.
Are
All
they
right.
are they in the playoffs for the World Cup? So
Uh
they
Yes.
are.
Yes.
yeah.
That was the thing with South Africa that they protested.
oh yes, I think we talked about that with last time with Sam. I not remember.
We did, but I don't think they finalized it when we last did our talk.
Yeah, fair enough. Have we anything else to say about the AFCON, or shall we move to the next and final subject of tonight?
I want to talk about. I know that third and fourth, third place match isn't normally important, but they did a 3-0 comeback in 20 minutes.
Oh yeah.
What match was it again?
Cameroon versus Burkina Faso, a third place match.
Great
Oh
match.
yeah.
Really good
Oh
match.
yes. You're right. Yeah, an opening by Yago at the 24th minute, combined with a non-goal from Onana in the 43rd. Then in the second half, Ouattara gives the third Burkinabe goal in the 49th, and Cameroon came back with Baoken 71 and a double from Abubakar 85 and 87.
Mm.
Interesting. Yes,
And then Cameroon won in penalties.
Yeah.
yeah. For even so, I dislike Cameroon for both the team play and the management behind. For the World Tournament, I may say that for this one match, I actually think Cameroon deserves a win. Like seriously, after a big comeback, you deserve the win. And they managed to put all five in.
Yeah.
I think we should move along to the next subject.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I mean, we do not have anything more to say, so why not move?
Right.
And the final subject of tonight, sorry, is or may no, I should say are the World Cup qualifiers in South America, aka CONMEBOL.
Yeah.
So, does someone want to start here?
Peru had a really good window. They got 4 points out of against Colombia and Ecuador.
And we can see the opposite with Colombia that hasn't scored a single goal in like 6 games, which is horrible by them. They had a acceptable position. That was like a fourth place, not as good as Ecuador, but still they looked like they were going to qualify. But now they started losing once and again. Well, also drawing, but I mean, but then they have those last two matches, which are really easy, Bolivia and Venezuela, and they could qualify. But there is the thing, they are already a bit down in the standings, so it will gonna be a hard fight between Uruguay, Peru, Chile, and Colombia, I think.
Hmm. The big match day to look out for coming up is the Uruguay's home game against Peru on the 23rd. Europe's
And the
24th, probably.
and Chile versus Uruguay.
And then Chile versus Uruguay that next window, or that next match day, yeah.
Out of all the qualifiers, even the European playoffs, the CONMEBOL the big CONMEBOL league is maybe the more epic qualifiers you can imagine, because even on the last
Yeah.
match day, there was a video that put the lifetime ranking of the CONMEBOL group for the 2018 campaign during the last match day, and each time a goal was scored, there was like 2 or 3 teams moving ranks each time. It was very insane. So a single goal could just give 2 nations the tickets, or banish 2 nations from the World Cup. And that's why the CONMEBOL is so special in those qualifiers, because you can just destroy dreams of another team just by scoring a goal on an own goal. That you can't see that in other continents.
Yeah,
No.
and what about Ecuador, which surprisingly did a really good qualifiers after doing a really bad Copa America, which was surprising.
Yeah. The other thing too is Ecuador. If Ecuador falls off and loses both their games, they may even not even qualify. They have Argentina, which is going to be a tough ask, but they also have Paraguay, and Paraguay shouldn't be as difficult, especially with them being eliminated already. But it is CONMEBOL, and you never know what happens.
Yeah, it's a confederation where you have Bolivia that can win at home against anybody, but will lose away against anybody else. That's the
Gotta love the mountains.
I'm pretty sure even England, France, or Spain can't even win in Bolivia.
I doubt that. I think they would win still.
Yeah, it's possible, but unlikely, because I mean, if you want to explain to someone why do we have to play home and away in World Cup qualifiers or any tournament at all, Bolivia is a perfect example that home advantage exists.
Mhm.
Well, but still, Bolivia is a really like team that is based on just Bolivia, which is also the worst league of CONMEBOL. So I don't know. It's pretty like interesting that they win at home. And by the way, Chile beat them in last time
Yeah.
in La Paz. So
It's not that they're unbeatable at some instead. It's really hard to play them at home. If you thought Estadio Azteca was high at what, like 2,000 feet or something like that, 2,000 meters, I don't know. But Bolivia's home stadium is way
Actually,
higher.
it's more than 3,000.
In
Yes.
Mexico,
No, no, Mexico. Ah, you talk about Mexico. Oh, sorry.
I said Estadio Azteca.
No, sorry. For some reason, I swapped America and Bolivia in my head. Yeah. You have yeah. The wall by Trump was on Bolivia. Yeah, sure.
But yeah, Bolivia's home stadium is higher than Estadio Azteca. So if the Estadio Azteca was difficult to play in just because of the elevation, Bolivia is even harder.
Yeah.
so Estadio Azteca is 2,200 meters above sea level, and La Paz is 3,640 meters, which is a lot.
Mm.
Yeah, I think a lot was not necessary. But yeah, it's insanely high. It's insanely high. I remember Neymar complaining about it and saying yes, they should not be able to have a stadium that high. And like Neymar, are you serious? Have you just discovered the reason we have home and away games? S- like seriously, that just preventing a nation to play anywhere they want as long as it respects the stadium size and some
Yeah.
obvious rule set of security and everything. I mean, you should be able to play in every stadium you want within your country.
I
Like,
would suggest not doing it when it's -16 US.
Yeah, right.
And that's -16 Celsius, not -16 Fahrenheit.
oh yeah, I remember.
But that's
Which
not including wind chill. That was when they were playing Honduras in Minnesota.
Yeah. Weren't like some of the Honduras players going off like
With
with those?
hypothermia, yeah, and
Yeah,
a lot of the US players were getting frostnip.
that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy.
It's like,
home advantage.
is it really home advantage when your own players are getting sick?
I mean, if you lose that match, you didn't home advantage. I can't wait to see United States going to the Arctic Stadium in Greenland.
I don't know if that's just going to happen.
Well, I mean, it'll still be tough anyway because I have to go to Qatar. I know it's in the winter sort of thing, but it'll still be pretty hot
It should be
Yeah,
regardless.
similar to our summer temps. It's
yeah,
like 60 to 80 Fahrenheit.
Yeah,
yeah. A lot of people are actually expecting nations from hot temperatures to be actually efficient in this World Cup. So a lot of people are saying that in this year, this is maybe the World Cup for Arabic nations, African nations, and to some extent South America. So maybe they are right on some
So
aspects since we can see.
another thing to think of is even though it is a Middle Eastern country and it's a desert country, they are surrounded by water, so it's going to be really humid too.
yeah,
And so I think South American countries like Brazil, Ecuador, Peru, because they're used to jungle temperatures or jungle climates, they're going to be used to the humidity and the heat
yeah.
more so
So
than others.
are you actually expecting a South American nation to actually win back the World Cup 20 years after the
Yeah,
last one?
Yeah,
yeah.
I think it's way possible.
I actually think that Brazil will win the World Cup in this year. This year, not just based on that fact either. It's like just how dominant they've been in qualifying.
They've been just as dominant in qualifying in 2018, though.
Yeah,
Yeah, they always do
It's
that.
been a lot of times they are well
Yeah.
dominant.
It's
And then they lose 7-1 to Germany.
Yeah, but in 2014 they never played any qualifiers between the South African and
yeah, that
Brazil,
is
Yeah.
true.
so
They didn't have to play in the qualifiers.
They're just playing friendly matches, weren't they?
yeah, maybe yeah,
Yeah, against
and
European.
even Copa America doesn't have any qualifiers because well they only have 10 nations. So
They actually have two invitees.
yeah, it's weird to me to think that there are no qualifiers at all in South America. Like congratulations, you exist, you win, and that's it. And yeah, the fact that they have 18 match days of qualifiers for the World Cup actually backs it up, I guess. It's kind of a Nations League for CONMEBOL.
Yeah.
I mean, we should award titles for the country that wins it. Maybe it will be
Uh,
bring even more competitiveness on it.
it is important for them, this really, really important, this league, of what I see on Latin American people.
You mean the Copa America or the
No,
league?
the qualifiers, the league.
Yeah, I have seen that. A lot of people were asking like for the qualifiers to maybe split the continent into like two groups of five, so they play only 8 matches. But people always answered that they have no official matches outside of that, so they need a big league, and it's so I get what you're saying. They are really attached to this league. But what I
Yeah.
think is they should made it an official competition, like very a real nations league for CONMEBOL, with no promotion or regulation, but give a more important purpose to it than just being qualifiers. I think it will be bring even more people to actually watch CONMEBOL football.
Yeah.
I don't. S-
Also, Brazil would win again, like always. But yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it would. I think it will give even more competitiveness because you will not only fight for the World Cup but a continental title. It's always that to
That's
take.
true.
We never know. But yeah, so you guys think a South American nation might win? Yeah,
Hmm.
now that you exposed to me the fact that some countries actually take advantage of it, yeah, I think I can back it up too. Do you have anything else to say about this, or a feeling, a prediction, or
Yeah, we can just say what we think, who we think will get the fourth and fifth place, which is the real battle right now.
Do you want to start us off then, Potato?
Okay, yeah. It is really difficult because we never know. As Colombia has, for example, the best schedule, but they are 4 points away from Peru, which is difficult. Maybe Uruguay will have the fourth place after having that bad last part of the qualifiers, but somehow they managed to get the fourth. But I think Peru will actually get the fourth and Uruguay fifth.
yeah,
Okay.
anyone
Anything to
else?
Tobo?
say?
Um, I'm going to stick with Uruguay for fourth. As for fifth place, that's really tough. Uh, gonna for me, it's gonna have to be between Peru or Chile. Even though Colombia are still in the mix, don't. I think it might be a little bit too late for them. I think. Um, I'm gonna go with how it stands. So yeah, Uruguay fourth and Peru in fifth.
I am going. I guess I'll be devil's advocate a little bit, and I'll say Peru's going to get ahead of Uruguay and get the automatic qualifier spot. And then it'll be between Uruguay and Chile, and I think Uruguay will just squeak out. Although Chile is a better team, um, I think slightly better, but they're really close, and it could go either way. But I'm going to go Ecuador third, Peru fourth, Uruguay fifth.
For myself, I think I want to scream the top of my lungs like they are 99 overall in FIFA, but right now Marseille opens the score. Um, Sorry, back to character. So, as I wanted to say, I think Ecuador might qualify for the World Cup. They might. No, it's not they might. They actually can beat Paraguay while away, since anything is possible. And I think they will put everything in that match against them, so they will confirm their ticket before having to play against Argentina, which is a big trap for them, and they know it. So they will put everything to beat Paraguay. For the other teams, it's more complicated. I don't really know. I want Uruguay to advance. They are quite a nice team. Peru too. For me, Colombia are out. But yeah, I think since Chile are in a bad opposition, yeah, actually my calculation is in my head. Yeah, Chile are playing Uruguay and Brazil, so they have a bad draw, I may say. So yeah, Peru might go to the playoffs, and Uruguay to the World Cup for myself.
Okay.
Okay.
I think
So,
you wanted to say something, Potato?
no, like I think we're done. I don't know if you have something to say.
No, I wanted to make sure we have said everything for this second episode before I just put an end
Uh,
to it.
there is one thing to note from
Yes.
Oceania. Because of the volcanic eruption in Tonga, Tonga has withdrawn from the tournament. Cook
Yeah.
Islands got they were supposed to play the Cook Islands in that preliminary round. So the Cook Islands advanced to the group stages because of that. I feel for all the people of Tonga that's had to deal with that, and I hope that they stay safe.
You are
Yeah.
right. We
Yeah.
forgot to talk about that or even put even a little part for Oceania. Yeah, but you're right. I think it's the last time both nations have to play each other. I think the Cook Islands won or something like that. So once again, Cook Island won against Tonga, even so it does not really count.
I
Yeah,
don't count it as a win, as a withdrawn, because it's not even a 3-0 win according to FIFA. It's just a withdrawn, and they just advanced.
okay,
And
Yeah.
Cook Islands still didn't play
yeah,
since
and
2015.
yeah, and one last time because we just do that since the beginning of the episode. Yeah, it is also the first time Cook Islands actually enter a real qualifying round within the OH. It's 2-0 for Marseille.
Oh yeah.
Uh, yeah, so Cook Islands are making it to the main round of the Oceanian, even so they do not have the skill of play and we probably have bad results. At least they will have the opportunity to really play seriously against the top sides of their confederation. I can't wait to see Oceania, but I already explained that in the first episode with Sam.
Yeah, and we'll talk about it again after
In
the
a few,
March qualifiers.
Yep.
yeah, in around 2 months for episode 3.
Go match.
So thank you for the three of you to be here with us tonight. It was a pleasure to talk with you, to debate and about the qualifiers and also the Arab Cup and the AFCON. And yes, that's it. That everything has to end, and so this episode has to do. So thank you everyone for watching us until now. And once again, thank you Toboloco, which is I remember you a British YouTuber, and I will
Mm-hmm.
link his channel to under the podcast.
Oh,
So
thank you very much.
yeah, you deserved it. And remind to make me win the subscriber World Cup. Uh, but yeah,
Also, make sure to link. Also, make sure to link my Discord server. Since this
yeah,
Yes.
is what this
and
podcast
yes,
is for.
sorry, Sam, I forgot to say that Sam have a Discord server which we actually technically host the podcast and the news, and of course I will share the official football Discord server of our little talk show in the description as well. So you can join us and debate with us on some football international event like the Champions League or the FIFA World Cup. Voilà. See you guys. See you guys for my next videos in the upcoming weeks, and also see you in 2 months for the third episode after the final matches of the qualifiers, the main qualifiers, and of course the FIFA World Cup draw on April 1st. Have a good night, have a good weekend, and take care.